Hello, my name is Alexey Sazonov, and like you, I am a sports enthusiast. I love watching sports, I love playing sports, but one of my favorite sports to watch and to play is basketball. And I grew up playing basketball my whole life, okay? But as you can tell, full disclosure, I'm not an NBA player, okay? But my contribution to basketball is not over because my daughters now play basketball. So I get to do my next favorite thing and coach basketball and teach kids how to play basketball. So one of the things that my coaches made a mistake on is not teaching the correct fundamentals and what to practice. And that's a mistake that I like to correct with my kids and the kids that I'm coaching, okay? So there's a process to shooting correctly, and that's what I want to talk to you about, is that process. And there's a 4-step process to that, and it starts with your attitude, and it continues on with the proper technique and how to practice that technique. And lastly, we're talking about looking at some examples, okay? So let's begin with the proper attitude. I always tell my kids that basketball is 50% physical, 50% mental, and 100% attitude. It's all in the attitude. And let's face it, there's not a whole lot we can control in this life or in this world, but you can control your attitude. Coach Gene wrote an awesome article on pivotal role of attitude in youth sports. All right, and he talks about in a sport competition, athletes have a limited time to reveal who they are. They have a limited time to win or lose. They have a limited time to demonstrate positive sports performance, but they have all the time in the world to demonstrate their attitude. So attitude is really important. So now that we know that attitude is the starting point, the next topic is proper techniques, okay? And your proper technique is going to set you apart from other players, okay? The technique that I've used to improve and that I teach to improve shooting accuracy is the BEEF acronym, okay? And Livestrong.com has great definition of what BEEF is, all right? And I'll talk to you about that right here. I use my visual aid. It's a basketball, yeah. All right, so BEEF, start out with balance, okay? You want to make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart, you got your knees slightly bent, right? And you're facing the hoop, okay, the basket. The next is elbow, all right? Your elbow should be underneath the basketball, like so. So you're facing the hoop, like so, all right? And the reason for that is a lot of kids make the mistake of lining up this way with the elbow out. And when you shoot, your brain is making that split-second correction, and that correction in that you can make a mistake and your accuracy kind of slows down. So go ahead and tuck that elbow in already so you can just focus on trying to be accurate. And the next thing is eye contact. So you want to be looking at the hoop while you're facing the hoop and your elbow is underneath the basketball. You're facing the hoop, and I always say hoop and loop. The basketball hoop has loops underneath it, and the one that's centered to you, that's the one you want to focus in on. So the last thing and the most important thing is your follow through, okay? So you're standing, balance, elbow, eye contact, and the last thing when you release the ball is your follow through. And your follow through, the last two fingers, your pointer and your index or your middle finger, is the ones that touch the ball last. So wherever they go, that's where the ball is going to go, wherever they're pointing. So you want to make sure and bring the ball down and put that backspin on it. That's what gets that backspin. And the backspin is important because it gives the ball direction and velocity, right? So you're telling the ball when to start dropping. If you don't put that backspin on it, you just kind of release like this, and the ball loses momentum on its own. So that's the BEEF factor. All right, so now that we know the proper technique, all right, the next thing you want to do is you practice that technique, okay? Practicing the BEEF technique helps the player become comfortable and confident in their shot. And Dr. Allen stated in an article on USA Basketball webpage, if a basketball player is good, the coach is going to find a place for them on the floor. It becomes extremely important to learn and concentrate on your shooting technique and how you're practicing it. Like Larry Bird did not become one of the greatest shooters because he had a pretty shot. He practiced relentlessly. Okay, so there's another article by general manager of the Toronto Raptors, Bob Babcock. He's got a pamphlet on how to properly practice your technique, and it starts with just getting yourself comfortable without the ball, then start using the ball, and then shoot. And one of the drills that I run is 5 shots, 5 spots. So you're shooting 5 times from 5 spots, and you just kind of do that over and over again. So the last thing is you want to see some examples. Okay, you want to watch some of the people that are trying to do what you're doing in college basketball and NBA, and some other coaches that, there's plenty of examples of how to do this right, and watching them play. And Wall Street Journal's got a really good article on Stephen Curry and his habits and what he's doing and how he's so accurate, because he's getting ready to break some NBA records. At the same time, he is relentless in his mechanics for shooting. All right. So to sum it all up, we've talked about the process of how to become a great basketball shooter, and it starts with your attitude. All right, and you move on to practice the proper techniques, learning the proper techniques, you're practicing those proper techniques, and watching some examples. All right, and motivate you to go out there and do it yourself. So grab a basketball, put some headphones on, and learn how to shoot beef. All right, and the most important thing is have fun.